Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the lesson 7 of our Arabic alphabet series. Let's begin. Today we are going to do something different. We have come a long way and we learned about 11 letters of the Arabic alphabet. So it's about time that we go and review them. Let's start with the first letter of the Arabic alphabet. Aleph. Aleph is a stretched version of the Fatha vowel and it creates a long A sound. We discussed a lot about the Fatha vowel in our fourth lesson, so I won't go in detail, but the Fatha vowel is a sound that creates a, and Aleph is a stretched version, means it elongates the Fatha vowel sound, and it makes a, it's a stretched version of the Fatha vowel. So Fatha vowel is a and Aleph is a. Ba is exactly like the letter B. This means that the place from where the B comes from is exactly the same place where the Ba comes. There is no difference between B and Ba. Ta is like the letter T except softer. You pronounce it by touching the part where your skin meets the front teeth. So when we pronounce T, we see that the tongue hits the upper part of our body, but it's a little bit behind. So we bring it more forward and we put it to the part where your front teeth is meets. So when we pronounce T, the part touches a little bit behind our mouth. So we need to bring the tongue a little bit more forward towards the T, towards your front teeth, and make it Ta. So your front teeth, the part where your skin meets the front teeth is where you have to touch your tongue if you want to make the T sound. Alright, this is what I mean when I say softer. Tha is represented by the combination TH. There is no actual equivalent in English for the letter Tha, so we use the combination TH. You pronounce it by bringing your tongue to the tip of your front teeth. Now, just like we did in the case of Ta, over here we bring our tongue front, but we bring it even more front and we touch the tip of our front teeth. Alright, so instead of touching the back part, we touch the front part and it becomes Sa, Sa. This is a completely new sound, so it requires some practice for English speaking audience. However, it will be very useful if you practice it every day, and in no time your Sa will be perfect. Jim is like the letter J. So this means from the place we pronounce Jim is exactly the same place we pronounce J. There is no difference between the two. Ha is like the letter H except it's a bit more throaty. You pronounce it by bringing air out of the middle of your throat. This again requires a lot of practice, but it is easy to do it if you practice it every single day. The English sounds are not very pronounced than the Arabic sounds, so some English speaking audience might find this hard to pronounce, but I'm telling you, after a few tries you will be able to do it perfectly. So let's try one more time. Ha. This is H, okay? H is not so deep, but Ha is a bit more deep and it comes from the middle of your throat. So it's like Ha. You need to project the air of your larynx to the middle of the throat. Ha. Kha is represented by KH. There is no English equivalent. Just like Sa, there is no actual English equivalent for Kha. You pronounce it by bringing the air out of the top of your throat. This Ha was in the middle of the throat. Now Kha is from the top. You don't have to go much deep, just the top of your throat will do. Kha. It's kind of like when you're coughing, you make the same sound. This is the letter Kha. Dal is like the letter D, except much softer. You pronounce it very similar to the letter Ta, except a bit more of your tongue touches the part where the skin meets the front teeth. Now, Dal and Ta are from the same place, but Ta is a little bit behind and Dal is a little bit front. When we tell Ta, we have to touch the letter. When we tell Ta, we have to touch the front of the teeth. But when we tell Dal, we need to literally touch the behind part of the teeth. Alright? So Ta and Dal. Ta, Dal. We see that we have to touch the behind part of the teeth and then only we can make the sound of Dal. Zal is a bit like the letter Z. We have discussed this before. Letter Z is not actually the sound of Zal, but it's the closest to it and it shares the English letter with Zay, as we will see further. You pronounce it like you pronounce sa, except a bit more of your tongue touches the bottom of the front teeth. So when you pronounce sa, we have to touch the bottom of the front teeth. But when you pronounce zal, we have to literally bring the tongue out and pronounce it a little bit more deep. So when you pronounce sa, it's a little bit soft, but zal is a soft yet hard sound. Zal is a bit more masculine, and we need to pronounce it a little bit more deeply. Sa is a pretty simple sound, although it might seem difficult to some of you, but zal is even more difficult. So in order to pronounce zal, we need to first master our sa. So let's pronounce these two together. Sa, sa, zal, zal. Can you see it? They both come from the same part of the mouth. Sa, zal, sa, zal. Raw is like the letter R, but your tongue is a bit closer to the opening of your mouth when you pronounce raw. So the English speaking audience can use the example of roar. When you touch your tongue to pronounce roar, is exactly the same place you touch your tongue to pronounce raw. Roar, raw. You can pronounce it as roar. Pronounce roar and then you'll see raw. Touch your tongue to that place and tell raw. J is almost exactly the letter Z. Zal and Zay share the same letter, which is Z. But Zal is actually not the English correct equivalent of the letter Z. We just use it due to lack of better equivalents. The actual sound of Z is actually seen in the Arabic letter Zay. Zay or Za is the same place as Z. The place where we pronounce Zay is the same place as we pronounce the English letter Z. Zay or Za is exactly like the letter Z. Now we'll be looking at the 4 forms of the first Arabic alphabets. But before that, I want to pronounce all of these to you in order so that you can be able to differentiate between them. I'll do this 3 times so that you can be able to follow after me. Alif, Ba, Ta, Tha, Jim, Ha, Kha, Dal, Zal, Ra, Zay, or Za, depending on how you learned it. Alif, Ba, Ta, Tha, Jim, Ha, Kha, Dal, Zal, Ra, Zay, Za. Alif, Ba, Ta, Tha, Jim, Ha, Kha, Dal, Zal, Ra, Zay, or Za. Now with that done, let's look at the 4 forms of the Arabic alphabet. By itself or in its original form, Alif is a straight line. At the beginning, Alif is the same. At the middle, Alif is not the same, it has an extension. And at the end, Alif is the same as the middle part, except that it doesn't have anything at the end. Ba is like an arc. At the beginning, it's half. At the middle, it's completely changed. And at the end, it looks quite similar to the original form. Ta is having the same body as Ba, except for the 2 dots. I cannot stress the importance of learning the Arabic dots in the proper places. Without learning the dots, we'll not be able to do them properly. So it's almost crucial that we learn the Arabic dots, and I advise you to do this perfectly. Ta, ta, and ta. You see that it's the same form as Ba. Even Sa is the same form as Ba. So Ba, Ta, Sa are looking the same in all the forms. If it's not for the dots, we'll not be able to know the difference between them. Jim is like an arc, and we have discussed how it looks in the previous lectures. So Jim, this is also Jim in the middle form, and this is Jim in the end form. Ha and Kha follow the Jim except for the dots. Jim has one dot underneath it, Ha has no dots at all, and Kha has one dot on top of it. Alright, so please learn the dots, it's extremely important in the Arabic alphabets. Then Dal. Dal is looking the same. Can you see this? Even if the extension, if you just cut the extension, it will look the same. And so is the case of Zal. Dal and Zal are identical in each forms, and if it's not for the dots, we'll never be able to know the difference between them. Ra and Zay or Za are the same in every single form. Even with the extensions, we see that they remain true to the original form. This is just like the Alif. And now, if you look at carefully, I've labeled this as does not connect, connects, and does not connects. This means that out of 6 letters, we have learned 5 of them. Alif, Dal, Zal, Ra, Zay do not connect with the following letter. They do not connect with the letter that comes after them. They connect with the letter that comes before them, but they don't connect with the letter that comes after them. Alright? In each of these cases, Alif, Dal, Zal, Ra, Zay or Za, they do not connect with the previous. They do not connect with the letter after them. They connect with the letter previous to them. I hope this is clear. But in the middle there is the letter that connects. So Ba, Ta, Tha, Jim, Ha, Kha, all of these connect with the letter that comes after them. The only 6 letters that do not connect with the letter that comes after them are Alif, Dal, Zal, Ra, Zay, and one more letter that you haven't learned yet. Okay? There are 6 letters that do not connect with the words that come after them. Those are Alif, Dal, Zal, Ra, and Zay, and one more letter that we have not learned yet. The rest of the letters like Ba, Ta, Sa, Jim, Ha, Kha, all of these connect with the letter that comes after them. Alright, I hope this was clear to you, and I hope today's lesson was beneficial to you. If you have any questions, please be sure to comment below. I'll try my best to answer them. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe to this channel. Thank you.